What's up, guys? It's Nate from Famous Racing Customs here. Gonna do a little, I guess, explanation video. Um, Choppers Models. I believe he used to go by Big Daddy B, I believe. He was asking me what the term channel meant. So I actually just decided to do a video rather than try to explain it in a reply. I just feel it would be I can explain it better talking than I could typing it out. I don't know why my brain works differently that way. And maybe some of you guys does too. I don't know. But this is the best way for me. Okay, so channeling. Channeling to me is not even a lack for a better word. Probably the best word for it is it's an art where you literally lower the body on the chassis, meaning it sits lower than in the stock location. The best example I have is with my tow truck. This has been channeled. Everything's glued in, so some of the things may be kind of hard to see. Probably the best... Whoops, what's that? Oh, paintbrush flying. Gotta be careful around here in Famous Racing Customs Garage because things just fly out of nowhere. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Channeling. So, I guess it would help if I had my... See? Again, things fly. The toothpick I was going to use decided it didn't want to be used. So, okay, now back to what I was saying. Sorry everybody for getting sidetracked so fast. Okay. So as you can see here, you have your frame, rail, and then you have your body. Well, this body literally sits about... Well, the frame's actually supposed to go in, into this notch right here. So as you can see, it's almost to the bottom of the frame. Maybe about halfway through the frame, which in turn gives you a lower stance without actually lowering the vehicle, because with these older cars like this, you can only lower them so far. Here's a good example, the 32 Ford Coupe. They would only lower so far, and this is when they started channeling was before the days of people C-notching the frames. So everybody knows, there's an example of a C-notch right there, which is essentially causing, giving the rear end more room to sit flush, to make the frame sit flush. So channeling gives you this lowered look without actually lowering the vehicle. And then you get the look like this. There's a line, and I have to draw it out because you can't see it in the video, but for the fender, it goes up and then it comes across about right here. So that would be where the stock fender went. So the stock fender would actually, the top of the stock fender would sit right about here. So the whole body has been lowered down. Yeah, about right. Between, here and here is where that stock fender would sit. So, and like I said, it was a real popular thing to do for the hot rods. A lot of people, I guess for lack of a better word, people nowadays call it a body drop. Essentially it's the same thing. Channeling the body is the same thing as a body drop. As you can see, I had to raise up my the bed on the floor and the bed of the pickup, and And as you can see, there's a gap there. So, and here's yet another look.
Daddy, you okay?
See, I glued this one on a little too well. Okay, well, there's a good way. Because the back of the bed is still stock. So, let me see if I can. You know what? Let's just go ahead and flip her upside down. Oh, careful, careful, careful. Okay, so. Sorry for all this, guys. This is not a quick explanation. So, as you can see, I have a gap right here. Let's see if I can poke it up through here. So that's the gap. Right now it's about an inch. Actually, it's more like a quarter of an inch, I should say. An inch is, my numbers are off. So it's about a quarter of an inch, which it's a 1/24th scale. So I believe that would be 1 solid inch of a drop, of a body drop. So, again, you know, I hope this helps. It's not an easy task. It's something that you do have to take a lot of time and a lot of measurements. For example, you know, you have body lines that have to match just right, and unfortunately, with this truck, it has an arch right here in the back. So if it was cockeyed just a little bit, that arch would set it off so it would look more level than it actually is. So so there you have it. That's the best way I can explain it. Is it's basically it's just a body drop. It's the original term from the hot rod era. Guys body did they, you know, you hear chopped and channeled. Okay, so chopped would be, obviously you would chop the roof down, and then you channel it, which would literally be lowering the body down, so it has this lowered appearance. And because like I said, with these old vehicles, you can only lower them down so much before there's absolutely no ride quality. So this was a way for you to get the lowered stance and keep a lot of your ride quality. Plus it just looks, I mean, it looks cool, you know. Like with this one, is that on good enough? It looks like it is. Yay! I'm gonna put you guys down for just 1 second.
Well, you should. Chris is your son. And Ethan is yours. Let the two of you. Brother and sister.
Okay. Oop, I'm upside down. Here we go. Alright, sorry guys. So here's the 32, and people have seen it a bunch of times. This one was done in what they call a highboy style, which is it sits a fenderless highboy style, which means nothing's been done. So this big gap right here, this is all frame. Okay. So there's about an inch of frame there. Sorry, not an inch. It's about a quarter inch, a little over a quarter inch of frame right here. So, and then as you see with this one, the frame is completely tucked underneath the body. So there's your actual ride height, and then a channeled ride height, and again, I hope that helps. It's just the easiest way that I can explain it. You know, like I said, it's easier to do the video and explain it in my own words than try to type it out and text it and you know. So there we go, guys. It's going. So I guess it's also, you get to see a little bit of an update. I wasn't gonna do one tonight, but there you guys have it. I have I got the arm back on. Got the new header pipes on, which, man, that makes it look so much better. This is a high boy style. So I gotta put the firewall back in, which, I mean, doesn't take much, but I don't have two hands right now. I'm holding my phone. Sorry, I got the hiccups or something going on. So basically, you got to put the grill back in, which, you know, if this stays bent, then that's just what's gonna happen. And then actually, this hood, funny thing is this hood right here belongs to that truck, but it doesn't quite fit right. It never did. It's a little short, and it fit really nicely onto here. So but we've got to get the body back in, the firewall back in, the grill back on, and you know, then it's on to this one, which is fixing the wheels here, straighten them out. Oh, I gotta put the air cleaner back on it, which is somewhere around here. I don't know. Didn't take very long. And yes, you were seeing correctly. That is the Fiat body. I have no, and it's not a green cow. I know that's what it looks like now. Actually, what I'm gonna do is it's going to be. I have, you know, I really love this flat green color, and I have flat olive, and I have flat tan and flat black. So this is gonna be camouflage. And it's gonna be, you know, it's screwed. It's gonna be hand painted. But you know, that's okay. It's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be camouflage, and I could put a couple different coats of paint on there, and, you know, not too thick, you know. But here's a look at the Fiat back on. Fiat back on. The newly chopped down. I extended it, but I had to chop a little bit off the back end. You know, everything's looking real good. It's not sitting entirely level just yet, but that's just, you know, you just watched me quickly mock it. So, you know, the frame doesn't sit entirely straight on there. So yeah, that's what's going on in the world of the famous Racing Customs garage. So, and again, Chopper's Models or Big Daddy B. I swear I think it's Big Daddy B. Um, I hope that helps you on, you said you'd heard the term, but you didn't know what it was. And I know that if anybody is any kind of a car person, you've seen an old hot rod, you've seen lots of old hot rods. There's bound to be one that was at least channeled. I mean, everybody knows what chopped is, but um, fairly sure that if you've seen a chopped hot rod, it was probably channeled too. Another good explanation: go look at some rat rods. When you have the trunk lid that sits about an inch above the tire, that's channeled. It's just sitting way down there. That's more of an extreme way of doing it. I wasn't wanting to go that extreme with this one, but Dr. Cranky is right. It is a little too late to channel it, which is fine. Like I jump back and forth a lot, and I put those headers on it, and it's wide open. And yeah, having a channeled hot rod with those headers would look cool, but I would have had to take these off, and I didn't want to do that. This is very much probably the closest thing to maybe a 60s, maybe 70s, minus the paint job. The paint job's a little too nice to be a 60s or a 70s. It's a little too plain also. The really nice paint jobs had really like wild graphics, and look at old hot rod magazines, or you can look at like Hot Rod Culture, and you can see those wild paint jobs, the old photos and stuff. So it's just a little too plain. But for a plain paint job, it's a little too nice. It's kind of both ends. So that's. But I got the flat blue wheels in there with the chrome beauty ring. And actually, the funny thing is these rims were solid chrome, and I painted the blue in there very carefully, and that in itself is an art, and it is not easy. But yeah, I mean, really, you want to, if you really want a more of a better explanation of it, which by all means, go ahead. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a professional. I've never myself channeled a hot rod. I've actually never owned a real hot rod. I want to. I've had muscle cars, and some people get those confused and call them hot rods, and to me those aren't hot rods, those are muscle cars. I mean, Dave Parker would know. He's from California, man. That's like hot rod muscle car. I'm originally from California, so I grew up around muscle cars. And that's what they were. They were like the Dart, the Chevelle, the Camaros, think from the 60s. The 60s and 70s, late 60s and 70s, maybe even early 60s and 70s, cars, those were muscle cars. Those, anything pre-60, so the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, those are hot rods. That's how I grew up. Like hot rod. Muscle car. That would be, actually, that's just a custom. Muscle car. I mean, if you muscle car, a traditional hot rod is something that's somewhere. I mean, a real traditional hot rod would be from pre World War II. Yeah, I want to say pre World War II, all the way up to, I would say, trying to think now. I'd probably say until about when the Mustang came out. So about 64 and a half. So from the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, they were all hot rods. Mustang came out, and that started what they called the pony car, which in turn turned into muscle car. Because you had these, you know, these performance, basically just performance vehicles right off the line. They had already had the big engines and suspension and all that stuff, and it's something that you didn't have to build, and that's not really what a hot rod is either. Well, I mean, a hot rod you do have to build. I mean, even nowadays, muscle cars you have to build nowadays. But they originally the Camaro and the Mustang really started it. I mean, they called it a pony car. And then the Camaro came out, and that's the Camaro, and I want to say like the Chargers, something from Dodge. I'm pretty sure it was the Chargers. Maybe, I don't know. I got to do some more. I have to go back and brush up on my history, but they brought their own pony car to match up with the Mustang, and that's and then the term evolved from a pony car to a muscle car, because everybody was trying to put these these big giant high horsepower vehicles in that would normally come in like your luxury vehicles, like the Impala, I believe the Galaxy, the big engines that were made to push around these big old boats, and they were sticking them, they were shoving them, just greasing them up and squeezing them into this car that weighed half as much, and so it was big muscle, little package. And then you had ones like this, the Baldwin Motion, which was a Copo car, which, oh my goodness, what does Copo mean again? Ask any, I forgot what Copo means anymore. I know what it means, it's just I can't get it out. Anyways, it's basically a bunch of factory options that you would buy, like Yanko. Yanko was a name, Baldwin Motion. And basically, these guys would, these companies, Yanko and Baldwin Motion, they would order whatever they wanted. Like this one's got a 427. It's got a special, and then they'd add their own little special touches to it, like the Baldwin Motion hood, which, was more like a Corvette style scoop. They had, the Baldwin Motion had this wing on there, but essentially it was, it was a 427 I believe 4-speed, 427 4-speed. It had I think a 12-bolt rear end. It had short gears in it. It had a I think a Muncie 20. May not have had a Muncie 20. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I've got an uncle that's got he's got a '69 Camaro. It's not a ball in motion, but he built it. It's got a 427. It's got a Muncie 20 in it. Transmission, which is a 4-speed transmission. He's got a 12 bolt rear end, and with I think it's got 373 gears. So it's not a tall gear. That car is not made to go on the highway. One, because it's a 427 and it gets about, I don't know, about a half a mile to a gallon. That thing is ridiculous. But with that 373 gear and it only being a 4-speed, you know, getting it up to highway speeds now, I mean, the motor's just screaming. So, that's just something that he likes to cruise around town. It'll do quarter mile quick as hell, but you get it anything longer than that, it doesn't. It's just not made to go on a highway, really. I mean, you can, but like I said, the motor's screaming, and there's no reason for that. So I've probably over-explained myself about 100 times over. So again, I'm just gonna call you Big Daddy B. So, because I'm pretty sure it's what you were before you were Chopper's Models. So, Big Daddy B. I hope that helped. Anybody else that was wondering, I hoped it helped. If not, I'm not an expert by no means. I mean, I have grown up around cars my whole life, but I just worked on the engines. I never did anything real super custom to them, So I'm not at all a master at this, but I do know a little bit of the lingo. I do know what you mean. You tell me it's chopped, I know that you lowered the roof down. You tell me it's channeled, I know you lowered the body down. So that's basically my explanation. If I'm wrong, then feel free to correct me. I will not hold any grudges. Hell, if I got it wrong, it'd just be something for me to learn. So, but anyways, you guys keep it going out there and keep doing what you're doing. Dr. Cranky, feel better, man. I started to watch your video that you were doing on your Toyota 4-wheel drive. Anyways, it's that time of night where everybody's on their own computers and trying to use my phone to watch YouTube videos, and the Wi-Fi's just, it's just down low because the main computer's just eating up all the internet. So but yeah, man, get better, get back to building, well, I guess even if you're not feeling well, you'd probably still build a little bit. But Atomic Dog 32, man, keep doing your airplanes. I actually watched the video with you, David Parker, Big Block Love, 2 other guys which I don't really know, Big Boss Jim, and then another guy I don't really know, but it was basically on your Google Hangout, and they do pick on you a little bit about being an airplane guy, but you know what, man, build them airplanes. Shoot. It's plastic. It's styrene. So, and I know every time I see your videos, you're showing a video, one little tiny airplane that's, this big or whatever, But if you look in the background, all you see are cars. You see, one, two, three, five, at least 3 shelves of just cars. So, oh yeah, man, keep it going out there. Dave Parker, man, getting that airbrush down, but brother, that 300C looks sweet. It just makes me want to run out and get an airbrush, but I'm very picky. I do a lot of research before I buy, especially with a big buy like that. And I just don't want. I was looking on Amazon. I could have got a whole airbrush kit for like, I don't know, $70. But I mean, it just, to me, sounded a little janky because you know, $70 for a whole kit. I mean, that was airbrush line, the little water catch, and a compressor. And I can just see I'd be in the middle of doing something like third or fourth model in, and something's just gonna just screw up. So you know what? If I'm gonna buy, I'm gonna buy the best. So I went and looked at airbrushes today. That was a bad idea. They are expensive. Compressors are ridiculous. So, but I'll probably check eBay out, see if I can find a good air compressor. Maybe a good airbrush kit, and if somebody's trying to get rid of for, $150, $200. So. But yeah, keep those models going, man. To all my subscribers, thank you for subscribing. And comment, rate, and subscribe. And this is Nate from Famous Racing Customs signing off.